Welcome to the Museum of Aquarium and Pet History, and it is August 2023. Today we have not one but two videos for you from, well, Snake Discovery. They are two young, wonderful people that actually have a retail store and a zoo in the Midwest, and they have over 3 million subscribers to their YouTube channel. So they were on vacation earlier this year. They came to Zoo Med. They wanted to have a little tour, which we gave them, of a Turtle Nirvana, which is our turtle breeding compound here. That's where I'm at today. And they also wanted a tour of the inside, showing some of the animals we have there at Zoo Med. And after that, we went to building number 1 of the museum. And that is where Emily, and she's adorable, she actually went around and picked some of her favorite items there, and we talked about those at the museum. So I just want to say that the crew at Zoo Med, I'm extremely proud of them. They show the passion in this video of how much they really love animals and their experience, their knowledge, everything else. So it's really a wonderful video. I was very proud of them. And the second video is going to have a lot of key items that Emily and Ed love. If you haven't heard of these people, you should, because their videos actually are phenomenal, especially if you're getting into reptiles. You want to go to Snake Discovery and you want to see some of their videos on how to keep reptiles because they're wonderful. So without further ado, here is Ed and Emily from Snake Discovery, and we'll see you later.
If you're into reptiles, you have undoubtedly heard of the brand Zoo Med. They make a wide range of reptile products, from decor to food to lighting and everything in between. Well, today, Ed and I are in California and we have the amazing opportunity to tour Zoo Med headquarters. We're going to start our tour today with Jen, who is part of the animal care and the customer service department, which is in the same room. So I've got to ask you, why combine animal care and customer service, like to those two departments, which you wouldn't think would be combined, but they're together here?
It helps give us a lot of credibility. Having both the animal care as well as customer service, our desks are all in this room. So we take a phone call, we're doing stuff in this room, we're working with the products, and somebody calls about a product, we can tell them, hey, well, we're using this product with the animals here too, and this is what we do with it. So it makes it to where we can actually help the customers out a lot more when they're calling in, being that we actually do hands-on a lot of stuff with the products that they use.
Would you say your job is 50-50, animal care and customer service?
Some days it might skew a little bit more, 60% animals, 40% customer service, or 70% customer service and 30% animal care. So it just depends on the day.
And you have a headset on you, so you are like taking calls while you are actively caring for animals too, right?
Yes, yeah. There are a lot of days where I'm either doing water changes, cleaning filters, or doing food prep, and I've got to tell the customer, hey, I got to go wash my hands before I can go to my desk and help you out. Or I'm chasing animals across the floor who I have just let out.
Oh, yeah, I can relate to that. So
yes.
You're doing customer service while catching a lizard sometimes.
Yes, I have made quite a few customers the last few weeks giggles as I'm chasing something across the floor. So
that's amazing. What's your favorite species in this room?
Honestly, the Cuban false chameleons, but I'm really partial to Euromastics. So
really?
They've been my babies since I got my first one 17 years ago.
Okay.
So
and there's a little bit of, there's a lot of both of those. There's Euros and false chameleons, which we love. We work with false chameleons too. But there's a ton of other species in here too. So why the huge variety, or what makes everybody, the team, decide on each species?
Well, we get to decide on our favorites, but actually the collection here is the owner's. So it's what he wants to have in here. So sometimes we get to be like, hey, can we maybe get some of these? But for the most part, a lot of them are animals that he's really interested in. And so that's why we have them here in the collection.
Awesome. And one more thing I'm noticing while we're in here is there's a lot of Zoo Med products in these enclosures, which makes sense. And I assume, is it a lot of R&D or research and development that's happening in this room too? It's not just taking care of animals?
Yes, a lot of the R&D does happen in this room. All the time we're doing something and we're like, hey, this would be a really cool product if we had it. So that's a lot of what ends up happening. Is one of the things also is some of our glass tanks. It's like, hey, we have this space. Let's make a tank that fits in this space. And then all of a sudden it's a new product because somebody else sees it and it's like, hey, we should make that. So a lot of the stuff that we do is R&D is definitely very, very involved in this room.
Wow. I love how it's all tied together though, with the customer service, the R&D, and animal care. And this isn't your only animal care room, right?
No, not at all. We call this our showroom. And then we also have an animal room that we call back there, which is a little warmer. So we have a lot more of our hatchlings, like aquatic turtles and tortoises and stuff like that in that room. We have a greenhouse outside, which we also have a lot more turtles and tortoises in. And then we also have our own incubation room here. So we have a lot of areas that house a lot of different animals.
Can we go to the next room?
Yeah. Let's go.
Okay, we are now in the second animal room with Ashley, who is going to teach us a little bit about what happens in here. My first question is, what species or what animals do you keep in this room?
So in this room we have a lot of turtles and tortoises, a lot of babies actually that
Really?
That hatch right here. Behind us you'll see all of these. These are mostly hatchling tanks and they're growing up. We've got more utilitarian type habitats as opposed to the really naturalistic habitats that we have out in the other room. But yeah, lots and lots of turtles and tortoises.
We have some really unique species of turtles and tortoises in here too. Like there's spiny hill turtles.
turtle.
There's a bunch of box turtles in here. There's pancake tortoises in here.
Pancakes are one of my favorite.
Really?
I just love them.
There's a lot of cool species in this room. Like we'll try to show as many as we can to you guys. But what products are getting tested using these animals?
We test all of our products in-house on our animals after we've made sure that it's safe and effective.
Yep.
We make sure that the animals know what to do with it and how to use it and everything. So in here specifically, we're standing in the kitchen area where we prepare our diets, and we have a lot of our foods that are tested in here, pelleted diets, vitamins, and things like that.
Okay.
We also test a lot of filtration equipment, pumps, and lighting, heating elements.
Really?
All those kind of things.
Oh, I suppose with turtles, you do a lot of UVB testing in here, don't you?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
We make sure that using our spectrometer and UVB meters and everything, that the light that's created is safe and effective. And then we put it over the animals' habitats to make sure that they're reacting accordingly to the addition of those lights.
Can we see where you do all your light work next?
Yeah, that's right back there.
Oh, perfect. Okay, we got distracted on our way to the light room with pancake tortoises, which we learned is Ashley's specialty here. And she's teaching us so much off camera about pancake tortoises that we figured we would include this in the video too.
Yeah, pancake tortoises they're one of my favorites. They're so unique. This is a full grown, this is an adult female. She's only about 7 inches long, about 1 inch tall, and soft, actually. This species comes, do you want to feel? Like squishy.
Oh my gosh,
and
the shell is squishy.
And usually if you saw a squishy tortoise, I would freak out because that's not what you want.
It feels wrong almost, it's so squishy.
Yeah, but this species comes from the savanna in Africa, and they spend their time in kopis, which are rocky outcroppings.
Okay.
They're really fast, they have long legs, they can climb almost vertical wall. And if they flip over, they can right themselves. You can see how flexible the legs are and long. They don't have that big domed heavy shell to carry around, so they're super speedy. And to protect themselves, instead of withdrawing into the shell, they just run for the hills if there's danger. And they literally get themselves into a crevice between the rocks, and they'll wedge themselves in with their legs. They can't be extracted at that point, and that's where they're safe. So I just think they're so special and unique. They're also pretty gregarious. They hang out in groups because their hiding space is somewhat limited.
That's true.
They gotta share a hole sometimes.
Yeah.
And so they live well in groups. They're just really, really neat animals. I can't get over them. They're my favorite.
I had no idea about all these cool things about them. And the babies, it looks like they have a bit more domed of a shell. Do they kind of grow into that pancake look?
Yeah, when they're babies, they're definitely a little bit thicker. But I feel like that thickness almost won't grow. It'll just grow more around.
Right, yeah, they kind of grow outwards from the center, you know.
And their pattern, you can see, is unique. Every single one has a different color. We'll see some with a lot more dark, some with lots of yellow. They're just really, really cool animals, and we've been really successful breeding them here.
And did I overhear you call them or some people call them the soft shell tortoise?
Soft shell tortoise,
because
also known as a crevice tortoise.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they've got a few names. I call them pancakes.
Thank you so much. Well, Andrew is the lighting expert here at Zoo Med, and I am curious, though, for being the lighting guy, this is the darkest room of the building, which is kind of ironic.
Yeah. So a lot of our light testing happens in-house here, and the first thing we do when we're running a spectral analysis of a bulb with our spectrometer that we've got here is all the lights come off. You isolate your light source.
So it's supposed to be dim.
Yeah,
for light testing. Okay.
Yeah. It's just enough to read and write by, and then everything gets shut off before you get an analysis of a single bulb. But yeah, we've got like a lot of tools here to check and QC a lot of different lamps that we've got available. So usually, like a manufacturer has spectral analysis done on their bulb.
Yeah.
We double check that with our own equipment here, and then also use like third-party testing to triple verify that a bulb's performing the way it should be.
And so you do the testing in-house for the basking and the UVB and just all the bulbs that you guys carry?
Yeah, we've got like infrared imaging equipment. We've got spectral analysis that's tuned for UVB, UVA, and visible light. We've got like a accelerated lamp life rack test here that you can use 230 volt and 120 volt. So our European lamps and our US spec lamps, we can run accelerated life testing on those to make sure they're behaving the way they should. This room is also like split down the middle here. We've got 120 volt US spec stuff, and then this half of the room is all 230 volt lamps.
Is that what this is?
That explains
silly looking plug.
The EU plugs or UK plugs.
This is the UK plug. Really?
Oh, the UK one's even blockier than that. This is our like EU but they use the same voltage. So yeah, that's how we test on this half of the room. All lamps that are to those spec, and then US spec on the rear half of the room.
I wouldn't have even thought of that though. Like, you have your own products, but then you also have to create the plugs and the rest of the product itself for each country and based on what they use.
Oh yeah.
That's insane. So how does testing work with the UVB bulbs?
So we'll use handheld meters like our little 6.5 UV index radiometers.
This guy?
Yep.
Okay.
You can use those to measure the intensity of the UV at a given distance to have recommendations for distance for certain lamps and different species, how to get a higher intensity or lower intensity and how far you've got to be to achieve that.
That's really cool.
And then you test the safety and efficacy of the UV spectrum with your spectral analysis software. So you've got two different methods of checking that sort of thing, intensity and then where on the spectrum that lamp's irradiance is.
There were a lot of big words there that I didn't understand, but I'm going to assume that all made sense to some people watching. Thank you so much for your information on the lighting room here. I did not realize you did so much testing, actually.
Oh yeah, a lot of equipment in one little room.
Okay, we're back in the animal room, and now I'm joined by Miranda, who works on the formulated diets with Zoo Med. So first question for you, since a lot of keepers use like fresh food and live food for their, say, bearded dragons, why does Zoo Med work so hard and focus on the pelleted diets?
Yeah, so one reason is it's easier for people to have something that's shelf stable and just provide that for their animal, especially if you're having somebody, care for your animal while you're gone. Sometimes prepping a salad plate's a little too much work. Another reason is because sometimes it's really hard to get the appropriate diet from what's available in the supermarket. There's not enough calcium, phosphorus. There's definitely enough phosphorus, sorry.
Yep.
Not enough calcium. And fiber is another thing that's hard to get into these diets from a commercial like lettuce and romaine just doesn't have enough fiber.
Okay.
So that would definitely be a benefit for the pellets.
So you're able to put exactly what nutrients and vitamins you need into those pellets.
Exactly.
Are they palatable? Like, do the reptiles seem to like them too?
Yeah, so that's actually why this diet took so long, is that we wanted to make sure that it was palatable. So I spent about a year testing out different ingredients.
Really?
Yeah, so I did a bunch of palatability trials where I did one plate of one ingredient, one plate of another, just to make sure all the ingredients that were going in it, they liked. So that's what helped me determine what ingredients to use. And then they're put in proportions that are appropriate for their diet.
Okay. And you were referring to the brand new bearded dragon pellet that just came out, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
Yes, yeah. So we're doing something called dragon food. So it's in an adult formula and also a juvenile formula.
Okay.
So they'll have the same ingredients, but in those different proportions that I just talked about, what's appropriate for a juvenile versus an adult.
Awesome. Mm-hmm. And it looks like she might be ready for her meal today. She's been begging this entire time. She's been like right behind my glass.
She absolutely loves this food. So we do mix in fresh veggies because that provides enrichment where they get to pick out different things from their diet. So we do offer that on the first day, and then we let them forage for another day before we remove the plate.
Okay.
We also include live insects in her diet. That's mostly for exercise. Bearded dragons can get really overweight, as I'm sure you know. especially
yeah.
adults.
Yes.
Yeah. So we do encourage to feed live insects so that they can get that exercise.
Awesome. So this formula, this brand new Bearded Dragon formula is like your baby.
Yes.
And it's finally coming to market.
Yeah. So like I said, a
Oh my
year
gosh.
of just testing ingredients and then probably another year of just testing the final diet that we came out with. So this lady right here has actually grown up solely on this diet. So we've also incorporated the greens and insects like I talked about, but the majority of her diet is the new dragon food.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I'm super excited for it to come out.
Okay, everybody got calls all of a sudden, so
Yeah.
we're by ourselves
They're
now.
working.
So we're exploring, and we found, I think, like a showroom?
Yeah.
I don't know. Look at all this. I think this is what they use to, like, make a display shelf for a retail store?
It looks like it to me.
Probably.
Yeah.
What do you think is in here?
I don't know.
Should we go in?
There is a sign that just says no flash photography, so
That doesn't mean no Ed or Emily's.
yeah, it's true. What's in here?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, those look like incubators.
This is their incubator room. Oh my gosh. Look at this.
Oh, is there a lot in there? Holy moly, there's a ton of things in
What
there.
are all labeled to? Spotted turtle, Florida box turtle, water dragon eggs. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Florida box turtle. Look at all that. Holy. Okay, I don't want that to be
Yeah,
open.
we don't want to leave that open too long. Is there anything that's hatched over here or any babies?
Do you think we'd get that lucky?
I mean,
Oh
we're
my
not
gosh.
usually that lucky.
Look at all these incubators. There's... Oh my
Something
gosh.
in there?
There's babies in this one.
Uh-oh. Anybody coming? Nope, nobody's coming. Go.
Oh my gosh. These are baby pink-bellied side-neck turtles. Oh, look at that. These, like, just hatched, I bet. Oh my
How many are there?
goodness. 4 and 1.
One
loose.
escaped it?
One is in here. Here, come back.
He's like, you can't contain me.
You have to be with your friends.
He's like, I don't like my friends.
Here you go. Go back with your friends. Oh
That's
my
the
gosh.
end of the group.
Yep. Okay, well, we found their incubator room where
Yeah.
they have hundreds of eggs.
Tons of eggs and incubators. That's awesome.
I didn't know they bred so much, to be honest.
No, I didn't either.
Okay, let's sneak
Should
back
we
out
sneak away
before
so
they
we
catch
don't
us.
get in trouble?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, we are going to finish our tour at Zoo Med in their greenhouse, which is, I guess, where they keep even more animals and plants, and this is where a lot of their breeders are. So that'll be kind of cool.
Hey guys, we're in the greenhouse now. Where you guys been?
I don't have turtles in my purse. Don't look.
What?
It's really warm in here.
This place is huge.
There's a giant green iguana over here.
Oh my gosh! Hi, buddy.
Or an orange iguana. I'm gonna get technical.
Beautiful.
Wow, you're massive.
Wow. Yeah, he is impressive. This is a ginormous screen. This is a lot bigger than our greenhouse at the
Yes,
facility.
it is.
Oh, there's Meredith. We should ask what they use this place for.
All right.
Oh, you've got redfoot tortoises.
Yes, we do.
Aw.
These are one of my favorite species here. They're just so personable. They always try to come up to you and eat your shoelaces when you come into their habitat. And something that I think is really cool about them is that they make like a clucking sound when they're breeding.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it almost sounds like a chicken. It's super cool.
I did not know that about them. Oh my gosh.
I remember the first time that I heard it, I like came out here and like, because we have chickens here. I'm like, is that a chicken that got into the greenhouse? And nope, it was the tortoises.
So they don't do the.
no.
Nope.
Yeah.
Not the redfoots.
Yeah, and they go crazy for these hibiscus that we grow in here too. So we have one
cool.
in every pen, and we offer them as snacks for all of the tortoises and box turtles that we have in here.
Are these like breeding adults then? Like these are
Yes.
producing for you? And wow,
Yeah,
that is so cool.
and these guys are notorious for hiding their eggs super well. Like they'll pat down the ground, and you'll have no idea that they laid any eggs until you like dig with a shovel, or you have to catch them in the act.
So you have to like hand excavate all their eggs.
Yeah,
and
for these
hope you
guys.
find them all.
Mm-hmm.
Wow,
Yeah, they're super cool.
All right. So redfoots. What
Yeah.
else is in here?
bunch of aquatic. Oh, I bet these are the parents of the pink-bellied side
Oh,
necks.
probably that aren't in your purse.
Yeah, no, definitely not in my purse right now.
Oh, come on! I can't see you. It's too bright. Focus behind. They're there. They're there.
They're there.
That's all you need to know.
there's turtles galore, tortoises and box turtles galore.
Yeah. Box turtles. More box turtles.
Look at all the mangrove trees in
Yeah,
here.
these are so cool. I like there's like the roots that just grow down into the soil.
Yeah, there's so many live plants in here. It's humid.
Yeah.
This is crazy. More. Oh, there's 3-toed box turtles.
Aw.
Cool.
Hey, little dudes.
Okay, let's see what Ashley's up to in here. Okay, what are you up to?
I am looking for snake neck turtles.
Oh,
Hang on, I think I see one.
Yep. You just go for it.
You have to. There we go. Oh my god.
Oh, wow.
My gosh.
Look at that.
This is one of our Sibon Rock snake neck turtles. They're native to New Guinea. They're named obviously for the length of the neck here. They're super predators. They've got this like super fast action. Oh, gotta hold him like this or he'll kick me right off. He can snap his neck out so fast to catch fish. Really cool turtle.
These guys are related to tegus in the tegu family, and they're very sweet and they're very friendly. They have such a wide range of personalities, that's why they're some of my favorites. And they're some of our moodier animals. It's been really interesting as a person interested in animal behavior to get to know their moods, even from like hour to hour, day to day. You know, sometimes they're really energetic, sometimes they're lazy. So right now we're just trying to see if they're interested in eating any of their silkworms for us. And no, they'll give us pretty clear signals when they're not hungry. He just like closed his eyes and wouldn't really look at me. Normally when they're interested, they'll like come right up, and sometimes they'll even kind of climb out for snuggle time. Well, as you know, we are filming for we're filming at Zoo Med headquarters for another video, but we're also on this adventure in California, which has led us to Gary, president of Zoo Med's place. And Gary, in your spare time, it sounds like you have another passion. And how would you categorize that passion of yours?
The obsession is everything that relates to the keeping of pets. You know, the artifacts that were around for the last 150 years plus. I started collecting when I was in my teens. Bird cages, aquariums, you name it. Fish food tins, dog food tins, everything. People thought I was crazy. And so I have like 4 buildings full, and this building is the only organized one that you're in. So we're going to give you a little tour of some of the key items that are in the Museum of Aquarium and Pet History.
And if you look around there, we are in an actual museum that Gary has put together using vintage and just from around the world pet products. And this just looks incredible. I can't wait to check it out. What are we going to look at first?
We're going to look at Vaseline fish bowls. They're also called uranium glass.
Oh.
And basically, these are 1920s, 1930s, during the Art Deco period. And goldfish was all the rage. And so people bought these very elaborate stands, and they had bowls in them. And the bowls were normally Vaseline glass, which means it has uranium in it, so they glow under black light. So let me show you how they glow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh my gosh.
You can see how that one's glowing.
I can't believe they made fish bowls out of uranium glass.
Isn't that crazy? But it gives off no more radiation than the sun does. So like if you walk out in the sun in the afternoon, it's the same amount of radiation.
Wow. Did they know back then that they would, because they weren't black lights back then.
They do glow if you take them out in the sun. You'll see like a translucent glow to them, which is really interesting. But no, they didn't have black lights to really showcase the glowing of the bowls.
That's crazy.
But people just love this effect. You know, it's really interesting.
Was the Vaseline glass, is it Vaseline glass?
Vaseline glass or uranium glass.
Okay. Was it always that green color?
No, they made, actually there's some blue glass and there's some amber glass that also had uranium in it.
Wow, yeah, and I'm seeing, the more I look, the more I see Vaseline glass or uranium glass bowls. They're like all over in here.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
like this one right here, this is definitely uranium.
Oh my
Look at
gosh.
that.
Wow.
With the little lobster holding the shell with the pearl inside.
Yeah, I love that.
And that's
great.
1920s.
Okay, gotta ask, what is this?
This is a Carnival Aquarium, and this would have been made in the 1950s and the 1960s, and it would have been transported to different carnivals, and you would have a banner in front that says, "See the Living Mermaid," and it would be like 5 cents or something like that. And there's a back room to it, and so one of the Carnival little daughters, they'd put her in a little, of course, mermaid outfit. They would lift her up and put her in the tank. There would be probably a big clamshell with a regulator behind it, so she could hold her breath and go back and forth. And then if she needed air, she just went behind the shell, took a few quick breaths from the regulator, and then of course continued on. So it always looked like she was an actual real mermaid, you know. So this is the side door with the little mermaid handle on it. And you open it up and you could see the back, and they would have had a ladder and probably someone to help the little girl get up there. And nobody would see her because the banner would be hanging in the front. and they would lift her into the tank. And again, she would have her little mermaid outfit on and swim around. So, and it probably was anywhere from a nickel to a quarter, depending on the era, from the 1950s to the 1960s. But these all disappeared in the 1960s. None of this ever made it into the 1970s.
Okay, looking around, there's some really unique and old cages, like bird cages in here. And there's 3 in particular that, if it's okay with you, I'd love to show everybody. The first is this one. Now, what's the story behind this?
This would have been made in France. It's a French provincial cage that would have been made for royalty, so it would have been in a king or queen's house. It's actually made into 3 compartments, so they probably would have canaries, parakeets, and finches in each compartment. I don't know why that is, but that's how it's made. It is a really elaborate cage. I mean, a lot of work goes into this. I used to see them back in the day quite a bit. You know, a few of these would be around in Europe. But if you do go to some of the castles and stuff, if they had birds, they'll have a cage that's like this, that's this big. So this is a French provincial bird cage.
And on the other hand of the spectrum, you know, huge, elaborate old
finch cage,
canary cages. And then another unique invention is the stroller cage.
I call them the baby carriage cage. These were imported in the 1960s out of Holland, and it was probably a terrible idea. So they probably only brought 1 batch of these in. And then I'm thinking somebody probably in Phoenix in the summertime took their little parakeet or whatever outside in 110-degree heat and fried them. And so that was the end of that cage. You know, nobody wanted to buy these after that. And I think they only had like 1 production run of these that ever came to the US. So, but that is the baby carriage stroller bird cage. It's incredibly unique. I've never seen anything like this, where it's made for you to put your bird in and take them outside for a little stroll.
I mean, I like the fact that they put they made shocks, so it's not too bad.
And they're leather. Leather shocks, you know. I had to replace those because the old ones were so, you know, worn out. They just broke.
And another unique cage invention from when? The 1800s?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, you have to explain this one to everybody.
This is the wheel cage. You'd have canaries or you'd have parakeets in here, and they would like jump on these wheels and they would spin around and have a little fun, have a little party, get a little exercise. And this was a popular cage. They made these for about 40 years, from about the 1880s to about 1920. And that's when they discontinued them. And a lot of the companies made them. This was made by John Jewett, but they also, Hendrix made them, and I think 2 or 3 other companies also made the wheel cage, or the carnival cage, as some people like to call them. But very, very cool.
It's a very interesting idea, for sure.
Yeah, it's fun.
And we have a mouse cage here. Look at that, with a little external wheel.
And these are like from the 1800s. So you remember, like little kids out working out in the field with their parents or their dad, you know, they'd come in, they'd have a pet mouse that they caught, and they would be in a little cage like this. And they would, of course, take them out, and they'd have them tamed, and they would take them out and play with them. But this was the cage from the 1800s. You know, there was no cell phone, no television, no anything. So this was their entertainment, was their little pet mouse. And this was the cage that they would have used back then. Here's a little sleeping quarters for them in this wooden cage.
Well, this is quite an elaborate cage then. You have the wheel, the, you know, day-to-day, and the sleeping quarters.
Even older. That's probably 1860s, and this is probably 1880s.
Hey, Jasper, did you know that dog food used to be called dog bread, and it was shipped in barrels? That's crazy. I did not know that. And there are hundreds, if not, would you say maybe thousands other pieces in this museum?
Yes.
Just telling...
Too many. Don't tell my wife.
It's your passion. It's okay. We all have a passion. But it would take hours to go through everything here. So I think we're going to wrap things up with one more amazing item here in Gary's museum, which is this tank. Can you share the story about this? This is so cool.
This tank, which looks somewhat nondescript, you've got a really elaborate, well, not elaborate, but you've got a pretty plain brass tank with little side things with lion feet. And it actually was Teddy Roosevelt's tank. And it was for his kids. And his kids never had fish, but they had a box turtle, and they had salamanders, and they had newts, and that's what they kept in this aquarium. And in the 1960s, the Teddy Roosevelt house was doing some remodeling, and they had some broken furniture and things, and they just put it out on the street with this aquarium out there. And there was a person that loved Teddy Roosevelt, used to drive by his house all the time, and he saw the tank out there amongst the broken furniture, and he grabbed it, and he's kept it all these years from the 1960s. And so when it came up for sale, of course, I called him and tried to procure it, which we did for the museum. But I'm just so excited, and I called the Roosevelt Museum, the house, and they told me that they didn't have fish, but they did have a box turtle, and they did have salamanders and newts. So I know that this was a tank that Teddy Roosevelt used for his kids.
Well, thank you so much for letting us tour your museum and just learn from you, learn about all these amazing products that are no longer, but there's some incredible stories behind all of them.
I love doing this.
Are you still collecting more?
Only like really high-end pieces that I don't have because I ran out of room. I have 4 buildings full of stuff, and it's, I don't have a conservator yet that actually can help me with some of this stuff, so it's just me and Meredith and one other person, and that's it. So our website for the Museum of Aquarium and Pet History is MOAPH.org. So Museum of Aquarium and Pet History.org. So if you go there, you could see me talking about all kinds of stuff that relates to aquarium history.
Definitely go check it out. We'll put a link to it in the description below.
We're not as popular as her, but we're trying.
You have some really cool stuff
trying.
though. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for letting us come here though. This has been amazing.
Well, thank you. Thank you for coming out.
Well, that concludes our tour of the epic Zoo Med headquarters.
Zoo Med.
Zoo Med! We got to see it in person. That was so cool. There was even a lot more that we just didn't have time to film. Like, they do a lot of packaging in-house and making of products in-house. Like, they bag soil here. They package their food products. They make, the lizard hammocks from Zoo Med. They stitch those together here in the building. Like, it's amazing how much they do.
They have a glass building nearby.
A whole glass?
They have a food building nearby.
Yeah, there's a lot more to it than even just what we had time to film today. But we want to thank everybody for watching today's video. I hope you learned something new, and Ed and I had a great time. This was so much fun to be able to see what Zoo Med is like.
So cool to see all the animals.
Yeah, it was fun meeting everybody. They have a great team here, and we'd like to thank Zoo Med themselves for bringing us here to show us their epic facilities. This is something we will never forget. So thank you everybody for watching. Thank you Patreon backers for your amazing support as always. Thank you again to Zoo Med and the entire team at Zoo Med for your time and for showing us around, and we'll see you next time.
Zoo Med.